Welcome back to the Travel Agency in a Year podcast. I'm scratching my eyeball, no big deal. My name is Rachel Kay, your host, and I'm going to be helping you, just a travel advisor, helping other travel advisors become the CEO of their business. So we've talked about, this is like a serial podcast. We've been talking about setting up your schedule, having your business plan, coming up with your marketing strategies overall, how you're going to serve your clients. Is it aligned with your marketing messaging, creating your brand voice? Now we're going to get into the money, Slabowski. If you get that reference, you get it. But if you don't, it's fine. So today's episode is going to be real basic foundations of money in your business. This is going to be a shorter episode, and it's going to be based a lot on the profit first method. The profit first method is, I think, an amazing strategy to implement for small business owners. Even if you are like, I can't even hire a CPA at this point. Like, I have nothing coming in. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants. It's still definitely a solid option at that point. Friendly reminder, I'm a travel advisor. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a CPA. So I'm not a financial advisor. I'm trying to give you little tipsies so that you can build this and not be like, oh, shoot, all my money's in my savings account or something. I don't know. Okay. Number one, hopefully you have an LLC. Hopefully you have an LLC. It varies what the fee is to file an LLC based on your state and the requirements. It shouldn't be a huge investment, but it is something important. Hopefully you have an LLC is all I got to say. Even if you are an IC underneath another agency, and if you are hosted, I highly recommend getting an LLC, and any host or agency that has sub-agents should also recommend to their independent contractors to get your own LLC. So once you have your LLC taken care of, you can file for an EIN. You can hire someone to file your EIN. It literally takes 5 seconds on the irs.gov website and is free. And you get that number instantly. And so the EIN is employee identification number or employer identification number, sorry. And that's basically like your business's social security number. And so they're going to want to know, like, where's your LLC, right? I think you can file it without an LLC as a sole proprietor, but I would definitely at least have a DBA, which is a doing business as, and don't quote me on that because I am always LLC first, then EIN. Once you have those bits of information, then you can open up a business checking account. And they will require that you have the letter from the IRS, which you can, like, once you file it, it's like, download this to your computer. So you have it instantly. And you're going to need to have your LLC, like articles of organization from your Secretary of State as well, typically. If you're like walking into a bank, I know I've had to upload the documents when I do an online bank account opening as well. Even if you don't have your LLC and you don't have an EIN, you should definitely open up a separate business bank account. Keep your money separate. Even though it's your money, keep it separate because it's not just your money, it's your business's money. Then hopefully you can open up sub-accounts. And with the profit first method, they recommend sub-accounts. I have like 5 sub-accounts. And I think there's only 4 basic ones typically in the profit first method that apply to travel agents and travel advisors. But I've got 5. I've got taxes, I've got profit, I've got operating expenses, I've got payroll, and I've got income. And for me, the income, any money that's deposited into my business account goes into that income sub account, which is nice for me because if I, for some reason, have my checking account information stolen or hacked or whatever, they can't really access the funds in that income account or any of these other sub accounts. And also, you're only seeing your available balance. If you're checking, it'll show all of your money But it's a nice way to not spend all of your money and then be like, oh, shoot, I don't have money to pay my taxes. Or, oh, shoot, I don't have money to make this investment because I have no profit. Or, oh, shoot, I can't pay myself. It's very important that you pay yourself. Once you get this all set up, and I think I've said this in other episodes, like 50% of whatever revenue that's coming in should be going to you until you make a certain amount of money per the profit first method. Okay. And if you follow the profit first method, they recommend a vault, which after you have 6 months or 12 months of business operating expenses, you should, in your profit account, you should ship that off to another account that's very, very difficult for you to access that money. And you should talk to your bank or CPA at this point to have them help you recommend what product would be best for your situation. But you want to make sure that it's something that you can't just whip out a card and be like, cha-ching, spending this money, because we will all be tempted to spend the money, especially when you get like your first big commission check. You're going to be like, woo, you've got to divvy it up. And like I mentioned earlier in previous episodes with scheduling, I have money day. So every Wednesday, I go into all of my business checking accounts and I do my profit first method with any income that's come in. And I go boop, beep, pop, divvy it up. I like to put all of my bills on a credit card. And that just makes it safer. If there's any fraudulent charges, it's going to come on my credit card rather than my own personal or my business checking accounts. That's me. But I pay my card every Wednesday and I like the points. So anyway, I'll go in and pay everything every Wednesday and I'll reallocate the money in the income account to the proper reserve accounts. And then if I need to, I'll run payroll. And it's pretty easy, just a few clicks. If you don't do it this way, I'm not sure how you're going to go, how your business is going to go. I didn't do it this way the first probably 4 years, maybe 5 years as a travel advisor. I was just flying by the seat of my pants. And like two of those, like the last 2 of those first 5 years was like COVID and COVID recovery. So it was like, there was nothing in there anyway. I had barely built up my business right before 2020. I was like, oh, I can quit my full-time job and then start over. No big deal. But I did see very quickly from reading the Profit First Method and following the steps in that book that yes, I had generated quite a bit of revenue in the year that I purchased it. But I was just like, why do I not have any money? It's because I was spending it all on silly things. But if you have that money hiding in your tax account, in your profit account, in your vault eventually, you're not going to be able to spend that money on other things. Those are dedicated towards those different reserves. You're probably asking, what the heck, profit account? What do you mean? So in the Profit First method, they talk about every quarter, you take 50% of whatever's in your profit account, and you can do whatever you want with that. You can go book a fam trip. You can invest in higher education for your business, whatever. You can give it to yourself and go have an awesome day. Have a treat yourself day. It doesn't matter. That 50% is like a distribution to you. And the other 50% stays there just in case. It's like low-key emergency funds. So these are the very, very basics when you're setting up your business, like very, very basic money concepts. You want to make sure that you have separate little sub accounts set up so you can hide the tax money from yourself and you can hide a little bit of a profit. You don't have to start out with the average profit margin for the travel industry. You can start out with as little as 1%, especially if you look at your budget for the first year and you're like, most of us will be operating at a loss our first year as travel advisors because you are paying for your like host agency fees and software upgrades. And you might be spent in making investments like you're probably going to have to invest in Canva. Almost all of us use Canva, things like that. And you might not get anyone, even if you are brand new and you get a trip they're going to probably be booked at least 90, if not 180 days out from your very first day as a travel advisor. Like, if you literally finish all your training and you have a family member that's like, I want to book this trip, it's probably going to be 3-6 months minimum out from when you first started. And then you got to wait sometimes around, I'd say on average, like 4 weeks for that commission to come in. So, yeah, your first year, you're probably going to be operating at a loss unless that family member's like, around the world cruise, please. And also, here's a $4,000 fee for no reason. That's not likely going to happen. So, have that understanding, have a goal of just maybe like a 1% profit your first year. Like it's going to be at a loss, but like put that 1% aside just in case you don't end up at a loss. But you're most likely going to be at a loss. I'm not trying to be pessimistic. All small businesses operate at a loss their first year too. Okay. Next episode, we're going to get more into like budget terms because I have had this question or these questions in day 25's episode come up a little bit in the Success Circle Hot Seat coaching sessions. So, we're going to get in a little bit further into money management in tomorrow's episode. Have a great day, everyone.